have Eclipse up with the last project we started. Not even really started, but have all the tools ready to automate. Yeah, everyone has that up. I actually have, there's just one more thing you need to download, but this is going to be easy. While you have everything up, just create a resources folder right here. So you right click on the main project folder, go to new, and create a folder. And that's where we'll put the WebDriver, and I'll tell you what that is in a second.
Just call it resources?
Yeah. Alright, and
There's
say again?
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you'll download it now. I didn't have you guys download it yet. Alright, and then enter. Oh, actually, make sure you have. Let me not use Safari. Pull up Google Chrome. And look up Chrome driver. That's all you have to type in. And it should be the first link. So click that. So here, I'm not sure which version of Chrome you guys have. So click on Chrome over here, with it in the foreground, and click on About Google Chrome, and then it should tell you the Chrome version you're using. For me, it's 92.
92, yeah.
Whichever is prefixed by 92, that's the one you download. Well, if it's 92 for you, otherwise these are the other versions. So download that.
Chrome driver, Chromium.
Say again. Just Chrome driver, not Chromium or anything like that.
Okay, and then where do you go?
It should be the first
Internet
link.
was being slow.
That's fine. So this should be it should be in the first link. So this is what the first link.
Yeah, I'm on the website, but where do you go after that?
Okay, so this is the one you'll land on, and for me it was since I'm using version 92 of Chrome, I downloaded this. Well, I'm about to.
What's it called? 92107.
Yeah, but before that, make sure you're using the correct Chrome. Go into About first and make sure your version of Chrome is prefixed by 92.
Yes.
Okay, so you're good. We're all 92 then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, so you downloaded 92.04515.107.
Well, you click it and then you'll see a few options. I have the N1 MacBook, so that's the zip file I downloaded. But you guys, I'm pretty.
One is the new one, right?
Yeah, M1's a new one. So most likely you all are,
When did you buy yours? This year, right?
I think it was
Okay, so
last
mine is
year.
old.
Yeah, last year, but it was the new one. It was the latest one. So you guys download this. I'm gonna download this. It's
Okay.
gonna be a zip file. Put it to download. Save that. And show in Finder. And unzip it. Alright, so it made a second one for me because I already downloaded it before. Let me delete it so I don't get confused. So you'll get a Chrome driver here. And before we, let's copy it over first. Just click copy and paste it in resources.
The whole driver?
Wait, how did you unzip it?
Just double click it.
Double click it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So where are we pasting it to?
Remember when we created the resources folder? Just paste it in there.
Wait, hold on. I think I... Oh, wait, no. I think I'm looking at the wrong one. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. And then, okay, I have it unzipped. And then where do I put it? In the resources?
Yeah, and in the resources folder we have for the project that we just created. Just copy paste it into there. Yeah. And now...
Okay. Copy files or link to files?
It didn't tell me, so just say copy. Select that option.
Well, paste thing.
Yeah. Paste it in there.
Just right click on the resources folder and click paste.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Yeah. All right, now right click it, go to show in, and then go over to System Explorer. And then it should take you to the resources folder. Double click into that. And then open up your terminal.
Wait, say the steps again for that?
Yeah, no problem. So all I did was I right clicked on resources, the folder. I went over to show in, and then I opened up System Explorer. So all that does is just opening the folder, like opening it as a folder structure to wherever we pasted the driver. So now, obviously this is the same thing. You're just seeing this in the Finder view as opposed to what you see here. You see source, there's target, you see source target, you see resources. So it's just showing you exactly the same thing. What we're gonna go into resources, double click that, and you'll see the Chrome driver you just posted.
Say that one more time.
Which part?
Okay, I'm in resources.
Yeah.
How do I put?
It should be in there already, right?
Yeah.
You see this? All right, you're good.
Yeah, I got that part. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Now just open up terminal for the next step.
Yep. It's open.
Okay. Now type this command.
In the folder or just in anywhere?
Terminal. In terminal.
Yeah, but you have to be in the
What directory
folder.
Oh no, we don't have to do that. I'll show you why.
Okay.
Because all we're gonna do is drag and drop, and as you guys remember, that'll just take you right to, this is not a folder. This is a specific executable file. So we can just copy, throw it in there. So after you run this command, let me increase the size.
Wait, what's the command again?
Let me increase the size. I didn't run it yet, so this is the command right here. You see it?
Chmod 755.
Yeah, chmod 755. What that means, it's saying right now. I'm not exactly sure why, but however they bundled this file.
Wait, before I even do that command, do I have to be in a certain folder in the terminal?
You don't. I'll show you why. For now, just type in the command wherever you are. It doesn't. See, I'm not even sure where I am right now, but all I did was type in this. I didn't hit enter yet.
Oh.
Right. So chmod, that's the command. Space 755. That's the parameter. And now we hit another space. And now after you do that, just drag and drop. Right. And that's the reason why I didn't care what folder I'm in. Right. It takes you anytime you drag and drop. Say again.
That was your echo.
Oh wait, my bad. Hold on.
Was there a question? Did you guys say anything?
No.
Do I hit enter?
Yeah, now you hit enter. See, and for me this changed icons, but I don't even know why it changed in the first place. So basically, let me kind of give you a breakdown of what happens. Well, did everyone pass a step? You should see nothing returned.
Yeah.
You all good for that? Yeah. So basically, this is our main. This is the main way to begin. At least for this, we could have had Internet Explorer driver. They have one for that. They could have had a Safari driver. They have one for that. I'm not sure they ever have one for any other browsers, but this is the main one you want to use. You always want to use Chrome usually. So basically, what happens is this is written in C+ or C, which is basically like it's a more like lower level code. I'm sure you guys have heard of C++. This is written in C most likely. I didn't check the actual source code, but what happens is you have your Java code right here, but how Java is built, it's a very high level language, meaning that you could do many things with it. You could, for example, there's a library that you guys will end up using that I'm going to go over much later, that has you kind of modify Excel sheets, and that's really useful. Like the more it lets you modify it, lets you add to it, lets you delete from it. And obviously, with how often Excel sheets gets passed around in businesses and whatnot, you can see the utility of that just by thinking through the use cases. But I'm bringing that example in because you see that what I mean by high level is you have these high level business use cases. But once you want to go down to like the operating system, once you want to kind of mess around with memory, you just have to write it in C. And this is just kind of overview. This is not something you need to know. But basically, Chrome driver, since it is such a low-level language, it can interact with the browser, right? So what happens is this package, this Selenium package we imported, that's going to interact with the driver. And the driver is going to call Google Chrome, and the driver is actually doing the activities. All this Selenium library is, think of it as like a wrapper. It wraps around the driver, and there's a Selenium package for every other language. There's one for JavaScript, there's one for Python, and we just happen to use the one for Java because it's just a really ubiquitous language. So it wraps around the Chrome driver. This does the actual work, and this wraps around it to let you interact with it without having to know any C. So now that's kind of a brief overview, but now we're basically ready. So I'm gonna save it and refresh, and we're good to go. So off the bat, I'll show you guys what you're gonna automate today.
Oh, shit! I realized I was muted. I don't know if you heard me when I said for me it says permission denied.
When you type this out.
Yes. Wait, did I take that? Wait. Oh, mine says.
Let me see. Share your screen. Let's see what's
We
going
were
on.
supposed to.
Alright, let me pull that up here. Alright, we can see your screen.
So.
Yeah. So, anyone?
Checked in. Well, I just dragged it.
So okay, leave that right there. Ish and Fa, can you kind of imagine what he did wrong? Or why do you think the permission is being denied? Just look at his terminal, see what he did wrong. Look at from the top line to the bottom. And Berm, obviously you look too and see where you messed up.
Do I say it?
Saying that.
Yeah, go ahead and say it if you know the answer. What did he do wrong among the steps?
The file path.
Yeah, what about the file path?
He didn't enter it, like with the chmod 755.
Right, exactly, right? So what he's doing is the purpose of So the purpose of chmod, it's short for change mode, right? And I should have shown you guys before you enforce the command, but basically what you see in Bermel's screen, permission denied, had you not run that command, you would have faced the same error. It just happens to have restrictions because your operating system is trying to protect you just in case this file is dangerous, right? So you as the user have to take, you have to kind of take the initiative to decide on yourself that, all right, this file is not dangerous because we know it's Chrome driver, and you have to run it against the the path. So what Berm you did was you said change mode 755, but you didn't specify what you wanted to change, right? Because in one line you hit enter, and line 2 you hit enter, but you didn't specify what you wanted to change. And after you're done with that, all you did in whatever that line you have highlighted, you just specified the file path, but that doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. What you did right there is like analogous to saying I want to open the Chrome driver, because all you did was specify the file path, right? So what do you think you gotta do now to make that accessible?
What am I supposed to do?
Fa, you wanna?
You wanna drag the Chrome driver on the right side. You wanna drag it into your terminal.
But I did that. That's what gave me the permission denied. Oh, you mean after I put change mod 755?
Right.
I wasn't supposed to press enter.
Yeah, right. See, now you're saying change mod 755 is just a parameter, and you're saying change mod what? You're changing mode of the Chrome driver. Now you hit enter. See, now you're good. Now it's executable. All right, we're good to go. Let me share my screen now. All right, so let me show you a brief about what you guys are gonna automate today. So you close all that out. So right here, basically this site is called saucedemo.com, and for your own sake, I suggest creating a new variable right off the bat, and calling it, call it a string URL, and write out the whole URL. or HTTP // www.saucedemo.com, and colon it out. By the way,
Wait.
yeah,
No.
it's fine. What?
I'm trying to copy.
Wait, hold on. Where's my
Okay, let me just
execute? Oh,
HTTP.
wait, did we make an execute class?
If you didn't, just make it.
Yeah.
I forgot if we did with you or not.
Yeah, we did.
We should have.
We
It's
did, but it's
basically
like
you're just
quick.
starting the only difference is you're making it under this folder, source test Java.
Source test Java.
Yeah.
Default package. Oh wait, I do have it right now.
Yeah, the default package basically right when you created the class here, it just created a, auto created a package. That's just what the behavior is. But everything else good? You good, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So just for your sake, just save the URL, put it inside a string variable, because this is the URL we're going to use to access this. And let me just give you a brief around. I'm just going to walk through it really quickly. Basically, Sauce Demo is made by this company that specializes in like having mobile and web devices on the cloud, right? So you never have to worry about not having enough devices to test with. Basically, what happens, we use this all the time, and let me go to it so you guys know what I'm talking about. So Sauce Labs, they just appended or prepended the Sauce part into Sauce right here. That's their trademark, and then just put demo. Basically, with their help, and we might use this later. The problem is it's you kind of need a subscription to it, and it's usually for businesses. But basically, what happens is they host all types of phones. They have the latest ones, whatever is out there. And if at any time you as the business you don't have, let's say, the latest iPhones to work with, or even if you can't get access to the beta versions of some of the upcoming operating systems, they usually have the physical devices at their location. So what happens is you create your scripts, and instead of running it against like a physical, or worrying about like a physical mobile device on your hand, you send the commands with your scripts that you're going to end up creating into their servers, and that runs a test for you, and then you get the results. But that's just a brief overview. Let me go over this little website they created, and it's just for new testers, or if you want to practice something, it's a good way to start. That's why I figured this is a nice place to start, because not only do they have their own website, they give the usernames here. So and they give like special conditions, which is really good, since we'll go through the standard user first, and then we'll come back to the screen and go through each one. And this is a really good place to start. So let's use their login information they gave us. Login, and you see there's no loading screen. You didn't see any loading because they don't do any kind of validation. This is because this is just a test website. They're just doing it to just let your give you the option to experiment with it. So it's just a standard website. As you can see, now we're inside. We've logged in. We got a few products here. They have a simple add to cart function. You see this text changes, and this little icon changes in the cart. You go to the cart. You see the the backpacks, etc. It's just like Amazon, your basic e-commerce app. You could remove it. Go back. You can continue shopping. Not only that, if you add to cart, you also have this filter option, which will also come in handy, and it should work. Everything should work. Let's go to the cart. I put one item inside the cart. Checkout. There's no validation for it, meaning that I could enter a completely wrong zip code, and this is not going to account for it. So if you hit continue, you see I'm already in the checkout page. I hit finish. And this is obviously where we'll stop, because they're not going to actually process that order or anything. So this will let you go back home. And now, to keep it short, let's log out and see what happens with the other performance glitch user. Let's try that. I don't think I tried this. So I'm trying to log in. And look, I think it froze for me. Or let me see.
Yeah. know.
So you see me clicking it, and it takes a while. Basically what they did is they put a timeout in the background to kind of mimic the idea of a website with bad performance. We're not going to use that. What we'll most likely use is if I log out one more time. And this is the last one I'll show.
But the performance thing, like, what's the purpose of it? Just like,
so
I don't understand the purpose of it.
So a lot of times websites, think about it. Anytime you visit a website, you want everything to be really like if I'm going to the checkout process, I want it to load up very quickly, right? I don't want it to wait. How do you really know that it could happen at any?
All it did is like set a timer for the.
Yeah, like in here they obviously set a timer because that's how you reproduce something like that in the real world. But in the real world, what happens is there could be something actually wrong, causing the performance to really degrade. So that's
just like basic, like.
Yeah, but basic
scenario.
Exactly, really basic scenarios. But your scripts are supposed to catch all that, right? You're not gonna have a manual person.
So if, like, let's say that happens, like there was a performance throttle or something,
right?
Are you gonna get like some kind of notification as the QA engineer that like this person tried to log in and it took forever? Like,
right, exactly. So basically, what happens is, if your scripts are designed right, you have the option to. They have these things called background jobs, and ideally, if your scripts are designed correctly, the minute it happens, even in the few seconds it happens, it should detect it right away, right? Because every minute users are turned away, like they just some kind of process is taking too long for them. You're losing like millions of dollars, right? So as the QA engineer, like you'd better hope your scripts are there to detect it right away, because you need someone to look at it, and you're kind of the last line of defense to make sure something like that doesn't happen. If your scripts are correctly written out, that should happen without an issue. It should tell you, right? You shouldn't have to physically go into the website and see for yourself. But the only way you knew that is if you have like processes up that constantly monitor for it, and that's how they do it. So let's see what happens with the problem user. So obviously this is not displaying the right imagery. I think add to cart, I guess, works. There was something here that didn't work. Oh, there you go. You see, I'm trying to hit add to cart, and it's not incrementing, right? Basically, you as a QA engineer, if your scripts are well designed, it should detect that, right? And just think about
specifically, like.
Yeah, that especially. Like, this is such a. Basically, think of it this way. If there was like some kind of really weird bug, and it slips into like the App Store, and the user detects it in the App Store, and it was really like a real edge case bug, where it would have been like really hard to replicate during testing, that you could get you'd probably get a slide for, right? They're not gonna probably blame it completely on you. But if you go through a regular use case where, let's say, and by a use case I mean you as the user just go through the user's head and think like, all right, clearly one scenario that the user could easily do is you could click on an item, right? And this is important because this is how you want to think, right? Because, well, let me give the example first. You as a user, you land on the page, you click the first link, you click add to cart, you click the cart button afterwards, and at this point your script, like, think about it, that's a very common use case, right? So obviously you don't want to exhaust your manual resources who are busy with actual like hard to detect bugs, right? Because he's a human, he has eyes, he could look at he could look at something more pressing. But if your scripts don't detect that, that's really bad. That's a miss on your part, because that's a common use case and your script should have detected that, right? What happens is a lot of times, the reason I spent such a I went so I emphasize object-oriented programming is there's a really inefficient way to do it, and what happens is QA engineers who are just bad programmers, they get lazy because they realize their scripts are constantly failing, and they miss really common things like this, right? So the more you improve your programming, the better your scripts will be. right? So that's just the, yeah, go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, okay. No, but basically that's a very brief overview. This is a good way to, test your chops a bit. Okay, so let's start to automate this. And before I get into it, give me a second. Before I get into it, right now think of it like we're trying to learn a new library, and it's very hard to not get into this phase where you're just trying to memorize the methods. Like I go through that all the time, and it's very natural to fall into that trap. You're just gonna kind of try memorizing things without realizing why it is the developers intended to code it in X type of way. What I mean by that is, I know in the beginning, what I had you guys do is I had you create a utils class, right? And there's a reason for that. And I remember when Fa mentioned public before, right? Like, why isn't it that, like, he used public as a solution, and he did something like this. I'll take one, right? And I'll just copy paste it a few times, and I'll let you know why I'm doing it, bringing this up. Okay, let me mess that up. Okay. The reason why I had you guys do utils first, right, was, again, this is very bare bones. First, I had you write.
You're supposed to copy what you're doing right now.
No. Don't copy any of this. Yeah. This is just just listen. So, obviously, in the very beginning, what I had you guys do was I had you write, like, fun is short for function. What I had you do is I had you write functions to kind of separate your code from each other, so it has some sort of cleanliness to it, right? And then after that, I had you delete functions from the main class and tried to have you expand into the utils class, where, okay, at this point, now you could start doing this, right? And references functions in the utils class, right? Just to get you kind of comfortable with having that layer of separation. The reason why I did that was to emphasize the point that the library we're about to use, Selenium, there's nothing stopping the developers who created for us to use to make these functions. They could imagine 100 different functions in this class. They could have done that, right? So, for instance, if they gave us if they wanted us to automate a website, they could have said I don't know, click button, input field, go back, go forward. They could have just given us a bunch of methods like this, right? But it would fall into the same trap that Ish was kind of came to learn the other day, where he was like overflooding his Pokemon class with all types of methods, like a take, hit, attack, all of that, right? And he could have done that would have worked. But imagine, again, just like he came to realize, imagine if the developer handed us this, right? Imagine having to go through every single method one by one. It would have worked technically, but nobody was going to read that, right? So I'm bringing that up just to kind of emphasize, don't try to memorize, right? Understand why they developed it the way they did, because I'm about to throw like a lot of methods at you, and I'll give like brief heuristics is what they call it, where just think about why they coded it the way they did. So let me delete this and I'll start. So now you're gonna start actually doing some work. So the very basic function you have to kind of learn how to use. Well, first let's we have our usernames, right? So we have to get into here, get past the login page. So for now, create two strings for username and password.
Do that now.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. So we're at least starting to set up, and make that first one standard user, and make that password secret sauce. So we're gonna use that later. Let me put that in the top. So know that while we did put the Chrome driver here, our Java program still doesn't recognize it because there's nothing in this code. Yeah, it is in the resources folder, but that's for that's like saying we realize that, right? We could see it because we created it, but the actual program has to recognize it. So that's the very first thing you have to do. You have to kind of, what it's called is you're configuring your background. So let me but before we go into how we recognize this Chrome driver, print this out.
Do I comment out WebDriver?
Yeah, for now just comment out WebDriver and hit run. Oh, my bad, not user directory. Print this out. And you print it out and you tell me what you think. So clearly I wrapped out the print line function, which is something we're familiar with, right? So clearly this is returning a string. Print that out and tell me what you think system.get property and the string, what do you think it does? So I'll wait, you guys print it, you guys hit run and tell me what you think it does.
Mine gave me a
What?
like my file path location thing.
So what do you think it does? File path to where?
It pointed to my folder.
Right. This folder, right? Everyone?
I got an error.
Let me see.
No, sorry, I didn't put the quotes.
Yeah. So it should have directed you to your root folder, right?
Yes.
So what do you think the purpose of this method is? What if I used it? What if I use it in, let's say, Pokemon-ish folder, wherever I put that, or Pokemon file? What do you think what I would get?
Gives you the file path to that folder.
Exactly, right? So there's these little kind of useful methods everywhere. This just happens to be out of the hundreds of thousands of methods, this happens to be the useful one for us to use at this moment, which is system.getProperty user.directory. Basically what it does is, based on what you pass to this parameter here, user.directory happens to mean whatever folder your Java program is executing in. Okay. So
yeah, no, I'm getting an error. I don't know why.
That's fine. Let me see your screen.
Can't figure out. I don't know why this is underlined.
So someone want to correct him?
But you go back to your code. Boy. You put a quote next to system.
Oh.
Yeah. So okay, let's stay on your screen for a second. Don't put it back to me. Let's stay in Eclipse. So what is it that system.getProperty? So we established it's a function, right? What is it that it returns? Now that Berm hit run, what do you think that is that it returned? What is it exactly? Yeah, it's a path to the folder, but what is it in terms of data structure?
String.
It's a string, right? So what do you think I'm trying to get? You leverage it. What am I trying to do with that right now, you think?
I guess maybe like if you have an error somewhere, it sends user.directory so you know where the error is.
No, so remember before I said we have our driver somewhere, right? So clearly, if we have a path, like a path function, we have at least some kind of notion of how we might get to that Chrome driver, right? You see that resources folder Berm has? Remember, our Java code doesn't recognize it, right? There's no way for it to. But right now we're on the lead to somewhere, right? So how do you think, at least for now, how do we construct the URL to get to that Chrome driver?
How do you get the URL to what?
Like not URL, the folder path. So right now it says users, Syed Rahman, Eclipse workspace, artifact ID, dash automation. How is it that we construct a folder path to get to that Chrome driver, you think? Remember, system.getProperty is a string, right?
Can you just pass it into the parameter of Chrome driver?
For now, don't worry about Chrome driver for now. Right now I'm trying to create a string to use for later. How do I create that string?
Put it in a variable?
Well, let's say this for now. I want to print out
driver.url. Does it have like a...
No, don't worry about that now. Don't worry about the driver for now. I want to create, what I mean is I want to create a folder path that says artifact ID / resources / Chrome driver, right? How do you think I do that? Including the string that's in that terminal right now.
So you want to so you want to append that and add
right
further. Oh, so you just take system.get property user.directory and then you concat it
right
with whatever text you want to add.
Right. So Berm, you want to start doing that?
So hold on. You said we copy this.
Leave that for now, right? Yeah, delete line 16 because we already have right. So we're trying to append resources like / resources / Chrome driver to that path, right? How do we do that?
So can you do plus?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a / resources /
Chrome driver, right? Because we're trying to get to that Chrome driver. But I think you made that uppercase
the wrong
R.
spot.
Okay, what?
No, you're
Aren't
good.
you putting
You
the
don't even
wrong
need
spot?
to. You don't even need to open that. You just stay in your Eclipse IDE.
I'm trying to see what the file was called.
All right. Now hit run and see what you get. Save it first.
No.
Oh
You
yeah,
put
yeah,
the
yeah.
quotes in the wrong spot.
Right,
You had to put it on the...
Yeah.
Where do you put it?
You put it inside the function, right? So you put it inside get property. So you're asking find user.directory / resources / Chrome driver. You're asking the function to find that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean that doesn't exist.
So
you're trying to print it, right? So there's like 4 parentheses, right? So the function get property is accepting user.directory. That's how you get the other thing. And then you also want to print the rest, right? So you got to put it on the outside because you just want system.out to print that last part.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Should work now, right?
No. So what issues? Wait, hang on. Yeah, it should work now. Yep. Okay. So clearly we built out a path, right? All we did was use that method that helps us get to the root folder, and then we appended resources and Chrome driver to it. Right now, the only problem is you make your resources folder uppercase. So you made the R uppercase. So just you can fix that if you want.
Does that matter?
I mean, yeah, it's gonna matter, but just to recognize it, because yeah, it's gonna take it literally. All right, print it out now. Okay, we're good to go. So everyone, make sure you have. Well, for now, create a new string and called path to driver and save it. Yeah, use camel case. Path to driver. Yep.
You set it equal to anything?
Yeah, you set it equal to, well, instead of printing it out, we're going to need to use it for later, right? So might as well enact that method into that variable. Yeah.
This whole thing?
Yeah. Well, not print line, obviously, right? Because that get property is passing a string out. So what do you think is going on there? So remember, you're not creating a this says you're creating a string called system.getPro. You're not actually invoking a method, right?
No.
Right.
This is a string, so
obviously the method for you generates a string, right? So you want that to happen. So you're not actually creating a string. So why are you using, quotes?
but I thought I am creating a string.
You are, but system.getProperty is creating that string for you, right?
So it should just be
Delete that entire string for now. It's confusing you. Leave the variable. So you see how you use the get property function, right? You did it. It generated a path for you, and then you appended it later, right? For now, you want to do the same exact. And here you printed whatever you generated, right? But now instead of printing it out, I want to save it into path to driver. How do I do that? Find any ideas?
path to driver.
Not
I would think it would be this whole thing.
Yeah, you got the idea right. You just have to get the idea of actually getting to work. Yep.
That stupid ass my trackpad is messed up.
That's fine. Yeah, there you go. Just close it up. No. When you put the quotes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So okay, close that. You need one more. Do you need? No, you're good. So you see what we just did, right?
So, okay, I get what we did. I didn't know you could do this though. Like,
right. Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, that's not.
So this whole thing isn't even considered a string?
No, it is. So you're invoking that method first, right? And remember, when we first invoked it, it passed a string, which was user side Rahman Eclipse workspace artifact ID automated. That's a string, right? So you could have delete the concatenated part for now. That's also confusing you. So delete the plus, copy it so we could paste it later. But for now, just delete it. Copy it and delete it. So okay, now do you see what's happening?
So I figured when we have a variable called a string variable, I thought this whole thing is getting saved in that string variable.
It is.
Like
so okay,
system.out.print line path to driver, I thought it would just print this whole thing out, like as a string.
Do this. Comment
the parentheses, right?
Yeah,
so you
ahead.
see the after get property, you see the parentheses. That means that you're calling something, right? So if you're calling something, then let's say the code's running, right? You hit run, right? So okay, it says string, and you're calling it path to driver. And what are you setting it to equal to? You're setting it equal to, oh look, it's another function. Okay, so I have to run this function first before I set the value to path to driver, right? So I run get property, and what it returns is what goes into path to driver. Do you get that?
Yeah, I get it, but I just didn't know string would work like that. So what would happen if I ran this right now?
before you run it. What do you think?
I mean, before I thought I would just get this whole thing, but now basically what you're saying, I think I'll just get the the /user /Rahman, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Up here.
Whenever you're using something that has those parentheses, that means you're gonna manipulate what it's returning. So
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know if it could work like that, but all right, I got it now.
Yeah. And just to go off, obviously we can't end it there, right? So what else do we have to do?
What was it? Plus.
What are you missing there? That makes sense, right? So basically what happens is get property returned a string. So now that's officially a string. It's no longer a function. So what we learned with strings is we could, concatenate to it. So there's another thing. That plus is just shorthand. It makes it easier. All that's different, the only thing different is it's actually using the .concat function. So now do this. Delete that string of the appended string.
Yes.
Yeah, and delete the plus. Yep. And now type dot. What do you think I'm trying to get at here?
Cat.
Yeah. So you could do the same thing like that. And what do you think you put in that parameter?
Same thing.
Yeah, try
But
it.
why would you do it like this rather than with the plus sign?
Because this is how we're used to doing it, right? Because in actuality, it really is just functions happening in the background, right? The other way we did it before, that's shorthand. You get what I'm saying? That works only with strings, but you wouldn't do it this way because you have the shorter option. But this is to make sure you don't think there's some other background process happening. This format you see in line 12, this is what we're used to. A function invoking another function, right? It's like saying, the Pokemon dot, take attack, right? You're just doing that, really. Try that. Same exact thing, right? All right. Yeah, it was just a small exercise right there, just to kind of get your head wrapped around the idea of you being able to do that. All right, now I could take back control. Fa, did you have any questions, or did that make sense? I think you're on mute.
Oh, no, that made sense.
Yeah, okay. Let me take back control. Okay. What do we do? Okay. I got a space here. You gotta be really careful. All right. Now there's this one more function that, we lock that path to the string variable, but that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, you're locking it to the string, but what are you gonna do with that now? And this I'll just tell you. Now you gotta set that property. And I'll type this out. So, and obviously this would be path to driver. I guess it automatically filled in it for us. So type this out and I'll explain what just happened. Well, nothing happened yet, but I'll explain to you what it did. So obviously you locked the path, which is just a string for now inside the path to driver. But what this does is it says there's a background variable now that's saying, all right, now you got the driver, you got the path to it. Now save it in the background with this key that tells the operating system that, and don't worry too much about the details. This is just to kind of give you like a heuristic of what I was telling you before of what's actually happening. It's saying create a key called webdriver.chrome.driver, right? And your driver is in this URL. So once you have these two combinations of items you need, now we could start using that driver. Or otherwise you would have just got an error message thrown. And you could practice yourself. Try. Well, we'll see later what happens if we comment this part out. But okay, now we're actually ready. Now do this. WebDriver driver equals new Chrome driver. And I guess you guys already have that because we set this up last time. And again, I'm just gonna keep dropping little ideas to settle this in your head, because anytime you have a library, it's tough to understand why they do it like this, right? So just like you guys remember lists, I'm giving you the same format. List equals new array list. You remember how we said before? Let me import this. And you don't have to obviously bring in a list. This is just an example. So just like WebDriver is referring to, well, you know how we did a let me see. You know how a list, you had different types of lists. I went to the Java code. Let me bring it up. So we only use array lists somewhere over here. Right there, array lists, right? But you do this when you need like a generic kind of type as to call all these types of lists. They're all lists, but to slowly kind of differentiate them, you do it over here. So that's all this is. So instead of right now, we're gonna be automating the Chrome. We're gonna be automating that site through Chrome, but it could have been Internet Explorer, and we could have pulled that in. Let me show you what happens here. So now obviously we pulled in Chrome driver, and you see it right here. Selenium has that Chrome driver, but it could have been. And obviously this is giving me a red line because I didn't import it yet. Import Safari driver from the same exact package. We're not going to be using Safari. And no errors, right? So this is just a small kind of little hint as to why they're built out like this. But again, change it to Chrome driver. Right? And now the actual method.
I don't get a red online or anything telling me to import Chrome driver.
Yeah, you shouldn't get red on the line. You're not getting any errors, right? You should be good.
No, but yours shows that you imported, your
line
5.
Look at what you did. So what I did, it looked like this at first, right? Do you see a plus sign over here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, open that up, and that'll... Obviously, you can import a lot of things, so they give you that option of minimizing it. But you open that up, and you see all the things we actually ended up importing. So I'm going to keep that minimized. And now we're pretty much good to go. Let me just make sure. Yep, everything is good. Now this is one of the many methods you'll learn, but driver has a method called get. And in that get will be the URL you use to visit this website. So let's see what happens. All right, no errors, we're good to go. Let me take out this list. And now, hit run. Now you guys should have your Chrome pop up.
Cool.
Did it pop up, this website?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and now do this.
But then, did you get that? Yeah, what is all that red stuff in your console?
Oh, that's nothing. That's just, yeah, I agree. I don't like that this is red, but this is good. This is fine. There's no errors here. If you actually read it, it's fine. This is just giving you the details of the execution. Okay. So far, so good. Now, right under driver.get URL, type this and close this out. The new browser that opened up, and now hit run. So what do you think that did? Did it quit out for you?
Driver that. Oh, okay. No. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Yeah. Try to open it, then it closed it.
Yeah, because there's no time difference between it. So now let me show you how to leave it in the screen for a bit so you see what's actually happening. Type this out. And obviously, well, not obviously, I didn't actually give you guys, I didn't go over exception handling just yet. But for now, when you type in thread.sleep, let me move it a bit. When you type in thread.sleep, basically that's just the function that takes the time in milliseconds, right? So how many seconds do you think this is going to wait?
2,500.
2,500 what? Well, in seconds.
A second?
Huh?
Or 25 seconds?
No, so it's in milliseconds,
0.5?
right? Huh?
2.5?
Yeah, 2.5.
Wait, how many milliseconds are in a second?
1,000?
Well, 1,000 milliseconds are in a second.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So 2.5 seconds.
Right, exactly. So I'll go over why this is red, but for now, just hover over it, and you'll see this option called surround with try and catch. Click that. Just let it be for now. I'll explain all this later. So you shouldn't get any errors. Now hit run again.
Wait, how did you do the try catch loop?
I'll show you. Hang on. Let's just let this exit out.
Oh, okay. No, I try.
Yeah. Try catch. Usually want to try catch because if you throw an error, you screw up the whole program. But we'll see where that becomes valuable later. So everyone good to go for that so far? Yep. Okay. So browser opened up, waited for 2.5 seconds, and then it quit. So far, so good. Now let me go back to why we did all the setup before. Comment this out. And then you hit run.
Set property?
Yeah, just for now, just comment it out. Yeah, I just want to show you guys why I went through this. You know, it's important in that. I mean, I usually forget to do it when I'm automating. That's why I'm going to go over and over it. Now just hit run. And right away you'll get an error, but let's actually read the error so you understand what just happened. So a lot of times you want to read the error just to get familiar with, familiar with it. So exception in thread main, illegal state exception, meaning the state of, in this case it would be the operating system, right? It didn't have this key to look for, right? The path to the driver executable must be set by the WebDriver Chrome driver system property. So all that's just saying is, I just wanted to show you guys what would happen if you didn't set it up properly. You're just setting up the background processes for this to work and for it to understand where the Chrome driver is located. Not only that, you also need to specify this key. Otherwise, it's not going to know what it's pointing to. But that was just that.
So,
Can I see the thread sleep thing again?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Yeah.
so set property, that's telling the driver where the Chrome driver is?
It's telling your operating system where the Chrome driver is.
But, I mean, is set property for... it's not for this, right?
No.
Like,
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not for it because in here we had to specify the key, which it's expecting, right? It could have been... I haven't used it for anything else, but clearly the original... this is a part of the JDK, right? The Java Development Kit.
Yeah.
There's clearly other keys. I wish they put it here. Let me see if they... No, they didn't specify who else would need it. But for our specific case, and to tell the Java virtual machine, which is what is called our specific case, you tell it right here, right? And what the Selenium developers did is they locked their Selenium code saying to look for this, and whoever's using it, just look for that. He has his key, right? That's just a small little, yeah. Okay, so we booted it up, we waited a little, and then quit. Now,
so webdriver.chrome.driver, that's always going to be the...
Yeah. So let me show you what happens if I put this thing in here. Well, a misspelled driver. So you're just get the same exception. It's just, see, it says it right here. This is the key that it's expecting. So even if you tamper with it even a bit, you're just gonna mess it up, and it'll stop you right away at least.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's important to even get this in your head. Okay, now we're just gonna switch gears a little, and we're gonna go over something called XPaths. So we're in Chrome, and just right-click anywhere on the page and click Inspect. And once you hit Inspect, you'll see on the side is HTML. And this is just, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, especially Ish, this is just how you build up, the graphics component of any type of web page, right? If you hover over it, Chrome automatically tells you what you're looking at. This is the login logo, the login wrapper, etc., etc. You open that up, and then you get more specific. and then you see that, well, not even outside the page. If you want to hone in on what this is called, you right click it, you go to inspect, and you see that it's a, I don't know why they called it input error form, but it's just a input for username. So your driver is going to want to interact with it, but it needs to know the path to this, and there's a very specific way to do it. But for now, to kind of help you guys out, go to Chrome extensions. It'll bring you right to this Chrome Web Store, and go to extensions, and let me see what it's called. Selectors Hub. Look up this thing called Selectors Hub. It should be this first one right here, and just install it.
What? Selection Hub?
Selectors Hub.
Selectors. You want us to download it?
Yeah, just install it. I already have it, so it's going to tell me remove, but just download it. And after you do that, I'm pretty sure you have to reset your Chrome, so just do that after.
Close out Chrome, right?
It is Sanjay Kumar, creator of Selectors Hub. Welcome back. So finally, Selectors Hub.
What? Who was that?
When you downloaded it, it starts playing some video.
Oh, shit. Okay. So
An Indian dude that made
Indian
Selectors
guy
Hub.
made it. Yeah, okay. All right. So you guys reset the Chrome.
Yeah.
All right. So go back to saucedemo.com at this point, and go back to inspect and make sure you have this open, and it should be over here. So click it.
Oh, where?
Let me see. So it should be right here. Right here. Open this up, and then it's going to be showing as one of the options. I already did it, so you're not going to see it here.
See it.
You guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what this does is, this is very helpful. It'll tell you if you're. Right now we're going to go over this thing called XPath. So basically, Selenium needs to know which element, is what we call it here, that you want to interact with. And here you want to send keys, and you'll see it has an actual method called send keys. Here you want to click the button. You want to do all these things, but you need to recognize these elements first, right? So in here, let's start with the username. Right-click it, inspect, right? And I'll go a little bit more over XPaths later, but basically, if I wanted to, I could have started from this body tag, right? They basically, this is like this, XPath works based on hierarchies, right? And if I wanted to keep going down this list, then, pay attention to the left where you see it just gets more specific, right? Right now where I am is in the wrapper, right? Like if I keep going down, right now you see it, not collapsed anymore, but if I wanted to go down the username, obviously I keep going down, and you see it keep honing in and keeps going to the username, and finally I'm in the username. Well, I'm in the form group now. If I go down one more, I go to the the username. But obviously you don't want to do this, which you can do, and this is called the absolute path. And don't worry about the definitions for now. I'm just showing you different ways of getting to that username field, right? I could do HTML body div, and you're not copying this, right? Actually, I don't even know if I don't use absolute paths. You're not really supposed to. But basically, the way I showed you guys how you're going down this path just to get to this one input, you could technically do it, but there's problems with it. First of all, it's way too verbose, and second, if a developer were to add something down this list, and it would basically break it. So let me show you a cleaner way to do it. Right. So all these HTML components, they have this tag to them, which is the very basic way of referencing them, right? In here, this is called an input tag, but obviously you see a lot of div tags, and you see if I click here, there's another input tag, right? So looking at login and looking at username and looking at password, they all have this input tag, right? Right?
Yeah.
And all we want to do right now is we want to fill this in, and click login, right? So what do you think we do, or what aspects of it do you think we look at to distinguish them?
Should distinguish them. Well, you see the placeholder.
Yeah.
What's called username, placeholder is called password.
Yeah, basically, right? So basically, yeah, they all have a similar component to them called input. Even the button, even though I think there's this should be called button, but whatever.
Wouldn't it be the ID though?
Yeah, you keep going down that path. If you actually look at all these attributes, right, pretty much all of them are different. This is right now I'm hovering over the login page. The type is different right here. The class is there. Everything is different, right? So you have all these options, but for our case, we only need to focus on one attribute, right? And by attribute, I mean you can visually see class attribute, placeholder attribute, type, data test, ID. But because all of them differ, we can just pick any. So in this case, what do you think? I mean, what do you want to use? I say we use ID, right? Focus on this because this clearly tells you what you're looking at. The original developers call this username, password, where's that login button, right? So basically, what we're doing right now is, before I told you guys you would have to go down this body tag, down to div form input, and you could keep going down that hierarchy. But since there's one input here, what do you think what do you think this would select if I just left it as this?
Or the first input?
Right, because at this point it has nothing else to go off of, so let's do that. Right, I know it's selecting both, but if you were to use it, and this is selecting all of them, right? But if I were to pass that into the driver, and I'll show you what I mean by that. It's saying, yeah, there's 3 of them. I don't know what to do, so instead of throwing you an error, I'm just gonna pick the first one down this page, right? And if you're trying to get that login button, obviously it's gonna show, not the behavior you intended. So to specify that attribute, this is how you do it. I mean, this fills it out for you, and this is a good way to practice because it auto suggests, but I urge you guys to get good at that, right? So this is the format. So now, since I want the username, and that's just the basic format of it, right? And if I hit enter now, actually it has a dash in between. So this one, look, if I hit enter now, it's gonna select 0 elements, right? Because I'm missing a dash, so you gotta be careful. So let me put a dash here, and now I hit enter. And now you know that this string is good to select that username. So did you guys try it? Yeah, go ahead and try it, get used to it. It's right in front of you, so just get used to it. And as you do it, I'm gonna go by this part really quickly. Just save it here. So I know we put username, password. Let me see. So obviously we have the username name, so let's do it like this. To differentiate it, do it like this. Right, because username right here is the actual login info we're putting in. To distinguish it from the field, this is how we'll do it. At least the username and password fields, right? But for now, right? This is how I'm distinguishing it. So just first validate it. I'll go by this really quickly. Do it yourself. Get the username, password, and login expats, and save it as strings to each of these fields. So let's all do that.
What's that?
How come when you go back to your Chrome?
Yeah.
Like you get like stuff on the bottom.
Right here, right?
Yeah, that. I don't think I get that.
Let me see. Share your screen. You don't need it really, but let's see it anyway. Because all this is doing is just showing you the same exact thing. Is just putting it right here. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see anyway. I'm not too familiar with it, but did you hit enter?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like auto like generates.
No. You gotta hit enter. Yep. Okay.
Can you share your screen again for your?
Yeah. I'm doing it right now. So basically, now that I know that all these three elements share the same exact tags, I know the only thing I'm changing here is this attribute, the value of the attribute. So I got the username. Now I'll just type it in manually. And before you even copy paste, verify it yourself.
So you always have to put add ID?
No, we just chose to this time. We could have done something else, like we could use that.
Oh, but I mean, you always got to put at.
Yeah. Like I could use type. Let me show you. Right? This is just to specify that you're referring to an attribute, right? And this goes a lot deeper. Like there's a lot to XPath. I'm just giving you guys the most basic breakdown of it, but there's a lot more to it. Just for the sake of time and just to have you automate your first few test scripts, this will suffice. They built this specifically so you could hash out the XPaths really quickly. But a lot of times it's more complex than this, right? So let's leave it as ID.
What does an XPath mean?
That's just what they decided to call it. I don't know why it's called the XPath, but this string right here that we're making, that's called the XPath. Meaning, with the XPath, we're able to hone in on the exact element we want to interact with. You got it?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I get what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. Got the password now. Let me look at the login button.
Do you call these string XPath username, XPath password, or?
Yeah, I'm just calling it that because obviously the username and password here, just to distinguish it. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you have to change the double quote to a single quote?
Yeah, in this case.
Baby.
How you guys doing? You guys are good?
Hold on.
Okay. We're good? This is simple so far.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh yeah. How do I get password?
What do you mean?
Well, it's the same thing, right? Just you have to change it to password, the ID.
Yeah, the only thing I changed was the value for ID, which was password. And if you want to cross-validate it, just hit enter, and then it'll, if it's correct, it'll do this dotted line around it. We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So now this should be kind of what you have so far. All right. So we got the expats. Now we're ready to move on to the next method. And this is easy to kind of visualize because you're saying like, always go down and first we initialize the strings we need. We got our driver, the path to it, and driver.get, that brings you to the URL. So at this stage, we're on the landing page, right? If we ran this right now, still haven't done anything. So this is how you start interacting with these elements. Driver comes with a bunch of functions here. Right now, what we were interested in is this method called driver.findElement. And you can see, always look inside what it's presenting right here, right? So find element by .xpath. XPath username, and we'll unpack that in a second.
Wait, hold on. Driver.
So I know this is like a mouthful at first, but let's see what's happening here. All this is doing is it's accepting that string parameter here, because ultimately you gotta start distinguishing the username, password, login button elements. But to do that, you need to specify the expats. So right now this is returning something. This is returning a web element. So we'll call it, usually don't specify the web element like this, but just for the sake of demonstration, we'll call it web element username. And we're going to delete it first in a minute, so don't worry about doing it this way. This is just to show you, and I'll import it. So just like before, what Burmel was doing, where he invoked that method system.getProperty. This is also invoking another function, taking in a parameter, and throwing it out something called a web element, right? And let's see so this is not, remember, keep in mind this is still a web driver. For now, at this point, this was a web driver. But when you invoke this find element method, you're throwing out something called a web element. And let's see what kind of well, actually, go ahead and type this. Let me, and then look through. Do this, and then knowing that we want to type a username into the username field, go down that list of here, right here, and what do you think we use to do that? That makes sense.
What are we trying to do again?
So right here we found the element, right? The XPath to the username. This should contain the web element for the username, right?
Yep.
It's locked in here. That's good so far. Now it's asking us, we got the web element, what do you want to do with that username? Do you want to click that username? Do you want to put strings in it? What I want you to do to find out is do this. Web element username, referring to this, and dot. And just look down that list and tell me what you think. Which method do you want to use to do that?
In order to what? Click it?
In order to send in...
There's something in it.
Yeah, put something in it.
Well, there's a click option. What else is there? Page tree.
Anyone?
So,
So it's in my screen. So which one do you think it is?
Submit.
No. Why do you think submit?
I don't know. You're submitting something to it.
That's a good guess. It's not that. What do you think it is?
Send keys.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just doing it like this just because you're gonna be asking the same question to yourself when you try it, right? You're sending keys, and you could actually use click first. That would have what that would have done is how you see that. I mean, exactly like how you would behave as a real user. If you clicked it, you'd have seen this cursor blinking, right? So that's how they coded it. So in this case, send keys. And what do you think? What do you think I should pass into it?
Username.
Yeah, exactly. You got that over here. Okay.
Oh.
Now, how should I do it? So we obviously didn't need this part, right? Because this throws out a web element. So what's a different way we could have done it? If I erased this and I still wanted the same exact thing to, well, if I didn't want to create a variable, right, or a pointer for that web element, what would I do with just this?
You could add some keys to that.
Exactly, right? Because this is still a web element, right? Right? This is still a web element, and that's why I just pointed it out like this. Even if you don't specify it, the thing it's sending out is still a web element, right? But to make it nicer to look at, it still has that send keys to it, right? And like we said, username. All right. So how would I do? What would I type for password?
Same thing on the bottom. Driver dot find element. XPath password. Dot send keys password.
Exactly. Okay. How about the login button? Tell me exactly what you want me to type.
Same thing.
I'll type out this part. XPath login button. Now?
And then dot. Wait. Click.
Right. Right? Because it's a button. It's not a field anymore. Okay. Do you guys have all that on your screen so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Hold on.
Okay.
So click dot. Would we put in XPath login button?
Oh yeah, we did right here. You see my screen?
Oh, expect username. Yeah, but then you don't put anything into click the parentheses.
No, because why? Why do you think?
Well, I guess you're not putting it. Yeah, you're just clicking.
Well, yeah, exactly. You have nothing to put because at this string, this part right here, this part right here, this part right here, already locates it, right? So now it's asking you at this point what you want to do with it. In the fields, it made sense because yeah, you located it, but what do you want to do with it? You want to send keys to it, right? Login button, there's not much else to do with it besides clicking it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
All right. So if you're good to go, just hit run and let's see what you get. Did it run successfully for you guys?
Okay, so what happened was it opened it up. It put in. I don't think it did exactly what it was. Let me run it again.
Yeah, it's really quick.
So you run it. Let me see what yours does. Okay. I don't know why mine isn't putting in the password.
Let me see what you did.
Hold on. Password.
That looks right. Oh, well, look at your Fa. Do you know what he did?
Let me see. You put username for everything.
Yeah.
I did what?
You put in the buy expat
Oh shit.
username for everything.
Yeah.
Um,
So what happened was, yeah, go ahead, fill that in. So okay, that's a good learning lesson. What do you think was happening when you were actually putting the expats for everything?
Oh yeah, that's what was happening. It was then putting all this into the password.
Yeah. Put all that in the username field and then hit click on login button.
Username field, yeah.
Yeah. All right. You're good. Okay. All right. So now we're actually in the login page. So I suggest having a separate.
Mine closes afterwards because I still have that driver.quit.
Yeah. It should close. So the session it opens through the code, just leave that. Let it do its thing. But you should have a separate Chrome, window so you can actually analyze what's happening. Well, to get more expats, right? Because now we need the expats in the the actual landing page. So let's get in there and let's get those expats.
So what did you? Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm saying we need we need the expats here.
So is this so I know this is very basic, but is this basically what you do, how you test
Yeah, but I like this is as basic as you could get, but obviously I don't have it laid out like this, right? I use data structures to make it so I don't have to do it one by one. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like I abstract around it. So for instance, if I wanted to do something like, all right, filter this out and make sure all of the things, filter from Z to A and make sure the names coming in are actually Z to A. You get it? And if it's not, let my script detect it and let me know. It sounds very similar, straightforward with the logic behind that and making sure it's clean. That's where the actual effort comes in. Right now I'm just going over the library.
Okay.
All right. So now obviously we'll need this part.
So why are we using Chrome instead of Safari?
That's just preferred usually. Usually developers, programmers, they all prefer Chrome. It just has a lot more.
Prefer Macs over PCs, but they prefer Chrome over Safari.
Yeah. I know it's interesting. But usually you just refer to it just has more support. And that's the best answer to that. Okay. Okay. Now I want to obviously be able to click on the products. How do you think I do that? Well, we'll create the XPath for me. Experiment with it a bit and tell me what you come up with.
Find me or like everyone, I mean?
Everyone, yeah, go ahead. And click around this a bit and see what you come up with.
All right, so you would
And look at the other one. Look at the one you already created for reference if you want.
so you would do div.
I'll type it out. Yeah, you're right.
Inventory underscore item underscore name.
Inventory item underscore item.
Inventory
Right here.
underscore item underscore name.
Let me see.
No third underscore. That's what they're all saved as.
Right, so you need some kind of differentiator.
Yeah.
Are we looking for the add to cart thing, or
this, like that's the title. We'll do add to cart in a bit.
Oh, okay.
And then you would. So what did you? Is that your screen? Whose screen is being shared right now?
Right now it's mine, so I'm just looking through. So you don't actually want to open it up from the very beginning, right? You want to click directly into it, so that tells you exactly what it's called.
So when you click directly into it, the only commonality I see is inventory underscore item underscore name.
Right, and that's a problem because they all share it, right? Like right here, I'm looking at the fleece jacket, but if I were to inspect this,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, they're both called inventory names, right? So any idea? Look around a bit. Do you think there's anything else I could do?
What's the saw slab bike thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at it, if I inspect it, they all have that same class, but that's the only specifier. There's no other way to specify. The only thing is the text, but that's the text, right? There's no other class attribute. There's no other attribute. So, any idea?
So you have to use the text?
No, because for instance, what if I decided to call this something else? I still need to refer to it. Like, what if they replaced this bolt t-shirt with bolt shorts? I still need whatever this item is in this 1, 2, 3. Whatever this third item is, I still have to refer to it if they change the text around. And if I were to stick with Sauce Labs bolt t-shirt, using that as the text, if they change that around, I'm screwed because that's not there anymore, right? Look above it. Meaning above here.
For title link.
Okay, you're obviously getting somewhere, right? Because if I were to, so right now I'm in the t-shirt.
Zero title link.
If I were to inspect this, at least the hierarchically, the one right above it, there's some type of difference, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
the one right above. Oh, okay. That's the hierarchy.
Right. So at least that differs to an extent, right? So how do you want me to do it?
So that's specifically okay. I get it. All right. So you would do / input.
And where do you see input?
Oh, not input. Div. No, wait. We're looking at that. Oh, you do / A.
Yep. A is just basically the element developers use to specify a URL, right? Okay.
Then the bracket. What do you call that? Not the bracket. We open.
Yeah, you're right. You bracket. I get it. Keep going.
Yeah. Add ID. So you always need add ID, right?
In this case, yeah. In this case. So I know.
You need ID. Oh no, you need ID.
Yeah, because that's still an attribute, right?
I gotcha.
It's like class href.
But in this one, yeah, it's ID equals parentheses, quotes, quotation mark, item underscore 4.
Right.
underscore link, title underscore link.
Let me see.
Oh wait, I think you're looking at a different. I'm looking at Sauce Labs backpack.
Okay. Must have screwed that up. But basically, you were going towards the right direction. Let me see why it's not working. Oh, I'm missing the 0. You see that, right? So even the, you see it? Even the smallest distinction, it's not going to tell you something's wrong. So let's try this. Nope.
No, because it's item. It's inventory. No, it's item 0 title link. No.
Oh yeah, what am I looking at? Yeah, you're right. That's what you're telling me. Okay, let me fix that. I am looking at the different one. Item underscore 0 underscore title underscore link. Gotcha.
So you're looking at Sauce Labs Bike Lite. That's the product you're looking at, right?
Yeah, that's it. And if you want to make sure, just right click it. But the problem is, I'm pretty sure this would still work. But let's say I still wanted to refer to this, right? Because I could refer to this, but let's say I did want to extract the text. I can't extract the text from this hierarchical one, right? I need to extract it through here. So what do you think? This is a little more a trickier question. But
you have to send it to the div thing.
How do you think I do that?
Add some slashes or something.
Exactly, a / div. So let's even just try it with this. Exactly, right? Look right there. Look at it. I didn't even have to specify anything else because this was enough of a distinguishing factor because of this ID that I could have just added this div and it would have known right. Because right now at this point it's already here, right? So if I want to go down that hierarchy, I simply have to do div, and that would select it. But if I wanted, I could have done this. I mean, it would have been redundant, but I could have done it. Right? See, it's the same exact thing again, but look out for little small distinguishing, features like it. But let's keep it div for now, because that's all we need. That's just to show you how to highlight that specific one. And now let's use that in the code. So in this hierarchy in the page, it's that second product. So let's say XPath for second product. So we'll put it, let's make this a little more consistent. Let me put the URL on top just for that consistency. URL, this is the site we're visiting, the username and password we needed, the XPath for username and password login button. Now right underneath that, let's say XPath for product 2. And just copy paste what you have here. Okay. Now what do you think I type? To actually click that product, what do I type?
Driver.find element by XPath for product 2, and then .click.
Right. See, it's like it's very intuitive. There's nothing here that you don't even need to know why they structured it like this. It just kind of almost comes out to you at like English. That's like good software engineering, in that the end user just kind of could read it like verbatim, right, without worrying about the background structure. So once you've done that, just hit run. Let's see what happens. And let me know if it executed as expected.
Stay in this screen for 1 second.
Oh, you want me to increase the timer?
No, just stay on this code for a second.
Okay. Gotcha.
Wait, what do we do now?
I think Berm needs to copy some stuff on the screen.
Okay. All right, got it.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So that worked as expected. Let me run it one more time. All right, we're good. Now there's another method. So we've been using the find element method, but clearly there's a pattern right here, right? And what they likely did, the developers, is, well, now we see why this could actually come in handy, this inventory item name. If you look down, all the other elements, none of the other ones have this class. So instead of going one by one, like a natural question could come up of like, hey, I don't want to go through each of these individual, because they each have different item names, right? But I don't want to have to go down and specify each ID, right? Because they have this similarity now could come in handy. So now we're going to come up with a different method. So instead of, let's comment this, well, let's delete this. I mean comment it so you guys kind of have something to look at. So now, at this point, I'm in the login page. Now this method, find elements, is plural now, right? So now, let me just, so let's pose the question like this. This just autofill, don't worry about this XPath to driver. So first of all, what do you think I put in that? The XPath. What kind of XPath do you think I generate for that? And we'll try it out here first.
You would whatever they have similarity.
Which is what?
Inventory underscore item underscore name.
Right. So how would I create that XPath?
Div, well, // div bracket add class.
Yeah, it kind of spoils it for you here because it autocompletes. But yeah, that's it exactly. Let's see what happens when we hit enter there. So now it selects all of it, right? So we don't have to go through each ID. And this is obviously, you could see the utility of it. So for instance, if they add more products here, likely they'll put that as the same class, and you it selects it for you automatically. So let's say copy that, and instead of XPath for product 2, let's just say XPath for products. And because obviously there's no reason to have one if we can iterate over each of these, right? So let's play XPath for products and copy paste that XPath, this one, this general XPath we just came up with right here that refers to each one, right? So now we got the XPath for products, and obviously we include it here. So obviously we can't click all the products at once, right? So let me ask you, if I hover over it, what pops out at you? What is that returning? That find elements method, what is it? What do you think it's returning? Of what we've been using for a while.
Finding all the elements, current page, using I guess it finds whatever you input there.
Right. But what is it? What is the data structure that it's returning after it finds it?
A list?
Yeah, a list, exactly. So we've been using lists tons of times before, right? So what do you think I put to the left of this to contain that list?
Like an array list.
Not an array list. Well, yeah, an array list, but
like a,
how do we always start that?
List.
Yeah, exactly. List. Okay, and this is right technically, but what is this a list of?
Web elements.
Right, exactly. And what is obviously web elements isn't plural, right? How do we define it as?
Web element.
Exactly. Okay. Perfect. All right. Now this is, you could see it coming full circle. All this say it sounded foreign to us, but now we've worked with lists before, right?
Wait, what does the brackets do?
Brackets just makes it generalized, right? Like, you know how before we had a list of containers? Oh, my bad. This just tells the list what is it storing. So for instance, remember how we had Pokemon before, right?
Yeah.
Basically, if I could have made a list, and this will give you red because Pokemon is not in this project, but basically what it does is, like, let's say I created a new array list of Pokemon, right? And if I were to, it's not going to show up because this is, you know, throwing an error, but if I had a web element and a Pokemon in the same project, I don't want to add one. If I designated one list for Pokemon, I don't want to add a web element to it, right? But this is going to do it anyway unless you specify exactly from the jump what you want in that list. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to you know, stop you from doing that. Okay, so now how do I get the how do I find out how many products are on the page? Just in the console, how do I do it? So the amount of products in the page are just 6, right? So how do I know? How does my script know how many products are in that page?
Dot side or something? I don't know.
Huh?
List dot side.
Exactly.
Or
No,
something?
that's it. I don't know why you're laughing. You understand this idea? Huh?
I was guessing that one.
No, that's it. So, all right, now let's run it. What'd you guys get?
6.
Yeah, exactly. So it had to navigate it because if I were to do this in the login page, obviously it couldn't locate this part, right? But now that it's in the login page, it detected 6. It gave you that answer, and it calculated it for you. So let's do this now, and this will be the. Let me see. There's one more exercise right now after this, and I'll do one more thing, and then obviously you guys have a lot to digest here, so I'm not gonna overdo it.
Leave it on this code for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, path for purpose.
Let me know when you're good, though.
Yeah, so when you run it, what is it supposed to do?
You see the 6 right here, right? Basically, what happened is as we now, let me show you. So right now, nothing is here because it's starting to run. So just focus on what's happening on my screen. Pops that up, goes through that, and based on the XPaths we got, I mean, obviously the timer happened. It took that, rounded up the amount of elements that fit that XPath for products, right?
Oh, you did list size.
Yeah, it contains that web elements that list, and you just got the size of it, and that'll give you the exact answer, right? Okay. Now let's do this. Obviously, now we have all the web elements here, right? So these get treated as exact web elements. Now, as the exercise, let's say for now, if I wanted to click each of these products, I'd be redirected to it. Well, it got timed out. Let me do that again. Make sure it doesn't happen for you. So if I were to go into each, that you'd get into the product screen, and you could get the XPath for this, right? So let me show you one more method that you could use. You could use the back to products page, but what do you think there's another method for if I wanted to go back to the products? How do you interact with the Chrome browser regularly? If you didn't hit back to products, how would you go back to the product page?
Back, the back button.
Right, back, the browser's back button, and here's the method for that. So you would take a web element. For now, let's say let's take the first one. So right here, of the list we contain, let's say I just wanted to click into that first element. What would I do? For now, don't worry about the other list. How would I click that first web element and go to that page? What would I do with that list? Try to remember all the list methods you used.
Wait, say it again.
So now we got all the web elements in the list, right? So you see all these products, all the reference to these web elements are in that list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each of them, all 6 of them are here. What I want you to do right now is, what I'm asking you is take this exact one and click it. That's all I want right now.
You do in the parentheses of dot click, you would put in list dot.
Wait, what click? What are you talking about? This is all I have so far.
All right, well then you would do driver dot find element.
Yeah, but why do I need to do that again? I already did it, and all the web element references are here, right? All of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all in that list, right? And I'm asking you right now, with whatever I have in that list, I'm trying to select this exactly, this first one. That's all I want. How do I do that? Leverage this list, because I keep telling you guys, you got all the web elements here.
List dot
Click.
list.
Wait, Fi, you said click?
Yeah.
But what am I clicking? Remember, this is still a list. This is not a web element.
Can't you, never mind.
You're close, but remember, I'm still using a list. It has web elements in it, but how do I get that web element?
List dot XPath for products or something? I don't know.
List dot. So it is clearly a list method, right? So XPath for product is not going to be in that list. What is going to be a list method you think? Well, just cycle through the list methods you know. What are the list methods you know?
Freaking out on them. I just remember like add. Like
Add. Oh, keep going. Add. Size. Say it again.
Get list dot get.
Exactly.
Oh.
Wait, but how do you click it though?
No, keep going. Keep going. So far, it's the list, right?
Click list dot get 0.
Exactly.
I mean 1.
Yep. No, 0. You're right, because remember indexes. Keep going.
Dot click.
Exactly, because right now you have a web element, right? Look at what it sends out. List dot get index returning a web element. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew that, but I didn't know. I thought it would be click parentheses, and you would put list dot get into the parentheses of click. I guess I'm just not following the path, but.
Wait, no. Tell me how you think of it as.
I thought it was gonna be like.
Exactly what you want me to type.
Find element dot click.
No, you can. You could do this. You could do find element, right? You could do it exactly how we did it before. Driver dot find element by dot xpath. You could do all that, right? You could put the xpaths here. But if I found them already, why would I want to do it again? You get what I'm saying? I found them. They're already here. All 6 of the products are stored in that list. Now I'm just trying to get them, right?
Okay, I got you. So you still leave the. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so it already invoked it. It found them. It's just storing here. Now it's waiting for me to do something with it. So as Fa was saying, 0 gets you that first product, and now you click it. So let's see it in action now. That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay. Now, let's say I wanted to go, and this is going to be obviously a new method. I wanted to go inside each of those products, and then I wanted to go back. So how do you think I go inside each of those products? So for now, let's say, how do I click each of those products? Fa. Yeah, exactly what we did. Yeah. Yeah.
And then dot click.
Right.
And then you do like the back function for.
Right. I didn't teach you that yet, but exactly right after the back function. So this here is the back function. This, not the more. So if you want to tap that out, get that out of your way, and let's see it in action. Let me see what happened. I think this could be a bug. Let me see. I'm trying to see if it clicks this, because there's no reason why it shouldn't. No, that should work. I guess the back function thing.
I have to add a delay before the back function.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Let me see if that might be it. So let's put another sleep here. So back. And this type of stuff definitely happens a lot. Like, that's just the nature of the business, and a lot of times you gotta find workarounds. Luckily, in this case, the workaround is simply there's a back button inside that product page, so you could have just done that. So let's try it now. Let me see. Alright, I'll look into this, but let's not get lost in that. Alright. Let me see if that back button works. Or I'll comment this out for now, and I'll get the XPath for and I'll put it right here. Well, no. Let me see if doing that changes anything. So button at ID equals
the thread sleep be inside the for loop.
Say again?
Shouldn't the thread sleep be inside the for loop?
I think I did though.
No, wait, let me see.
I'll show you.
Or did you delete it?
Yeah, I got you. I think I deleted it, but let me try this. All right, let me try this. Yeah, let's do what Foss said. Sleep for a bit. All right, let's try this. No, so for some reason, anytime we go back, it loses control. And I've seen this before. It's fine, but if I can't figure this out, I'll find a different page for you guys to automate. But let me see if there's anything else. These are the main methods. Let me just... All right, let me do one more method and then we'll call it a day. Just give me a second because this one's important. So this shouldn't be happening. I'll find out why it is because I wanted to ideally, obviously, go through each, go back to products, and etc. etc. But one more method, and I swear, and we're good to go. And it's gonna be simple. So basically, instead of, let me just comment this out for now. Okay. List.get 0. So right now we're still back to that previous, that first product. Get text, right? So what do you think? What do you think that's going to print out?
The name Sauce Labs backpack.
Right, and this introduces basically the actual validation step. That's why it's so important. I know it's simple, but the basic premise is now we could actually start checking if, for instance, this does indeed say Sauce Labs backpack. Otherwise, we'd just be running through the page, just clicking through it, right? If you want to check that you did actually land in this page, a good way to do it is, hey, does this say Sauce Labs backpack? So for now, and obviously since it's a string now, you've worked with string before. So how do you think with this, how would I say, so obviously I'm here. How would I say, how would I represent if the first product says Sauce Labs backpack? How do I represent that? After that, we'll call it a day.
Say it again.
So right here, we got our web elements, right? I just want to represent with what you guys know so far. Take that title for the first product and tell me if it does indeed say Sauce Labs backpack. How do I validate that?
Didn't you just work just now? So list dot get 0 and then get text.
Get text, but what do I do with it?
Oh, you're trying to see if it.
Yeah, tell me exactly what you want me to type.
So you want like a Boolean, like yes or no?
Yeah, exactly. So how do I do it?
So if
okay,
list.get
yep, if list.get
0 equals,
well,
get
remember,
text.
Yeah, you have to actually get the text, right?
Get text equals
that equals, right?
Yeah, and then you put in the string.
Right. That's all there is. Yeah. Let's say matches, and it's never like this. Don't worry. And that this is not how you're actually validating. It's just what we know so far. Otherwise, doesn't match. Let's run this, and that's all we'll do for today. I know it was a lot to take in.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're good to go. I know this was a lot. Don't worry. So I'm gonna upload this, and I'm gonna find out why this why this wasn't clicking through the rest of them. But prepare to start. Now that you basically have all the methods. The only thing I didn't go over is how to go through this filter, but that's not too important right now. I'll teach you that later. But you saw the navigate.back function. I'll figure out why that wasn't working. So, you could click everything now. You could get all the text you need. You could click this button. I'll leave that to you. But I'll tell you exactly what I want you to automate. But for now, let me just work with this website a bit and find out what's wrong. But otherwise, we're good to go. Just prepare for the homework.
All right. Should we review this code to understand?
Yeah, I'll push it. Don't worry.
Okay.
And I'll push the video as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're good to go. Anything else?
Nope.
No. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right. Later.